Contractors of Colorado. It's me, your host, Andrew Labrans, with another episode of the Contractors of Colorado Podcast. Happy to be here today with our special guest, Beau, with Rocky Mountain Precision Services. How are you doing, Beau?
Good, bro. How are you?
Good, man. Before we kick it off, I'm going to give a shout out to our sponsors. Thank you to the Builders Outlet. It's a material supply shop in Denver. We got cabinets, doors, windows, trim, and a custom mill. So anything you need, contractors, feel free to reach out to them. They will take care of you. And then, as always, the Business Foundry. Thank you for everything you do for us. It's a facility here in Lone Tree. This is where we shoot our podcast, where our offices are located. It's where we hold all of our events, our monthly meetups, our quarterly get-togethers. So please feel free to reach out to Business Foundry and come see us. Beau, man, it's good to see you.
You too, man.
Yeah. Well, let's kick this thing off. I want to first give you the opportunity to talk about yourself a little bit as a person. You know, I know you got a big family.
Yeah.
A lot of passions. Tell us about yourself.
Yeah, so named Beau Wimberly. Been here in Colorado 10, 11 years now. Currently have my wife, Crystal, and then our 6 kiddos, 5 boys, 1 girl. And it's just absolutely crazy right now, man. You know, Titus, my oldest, he's only 10, and then it goes down all the way to 1-year-old. So we are absolutely busy with RMPS, family, church. It's wild, man, but I love it. Wouldn't trade it for nothing.
Yep, that's cool, man. I got a fresh one at home as well. Little baby Juliet, brand new addition to the family. So
yeah, it's crazy. Out of all my kids, we only have 1 girl and 5 boys. It's funny because both my brothers, my one brother was scouted by the Dolphins, like nice big oil field guy.
Yeah.
Same thing with my other brother Glenn. They both had 3 girls, and then I had 3 boys right off the bat.
Yeah,
they were pissed, and then I prayed and I said, Lord, please give me a daughter. So my 4th one was a girl. And then I didn't pray for the next 2 genders, and it was boys. So yeah. I'm thankful, man. Girls are really special.
Yeah, it's I could already tell. She's got me wrapped around her finger, and she's a month old. So it's like, oh, where is this gonna go? She's amazing.
Wait till she walks to you or says, Dad. It's ridiculous.
I'm sure, man. My little boy, he's not taking any of his thunder. He's amazing, but damn. Yeah. He's a little boy through and through. He's a mama's boy too. Yeah. So I'm just, hopefully this one will be a little more in dad's camp.
100%.
It's cool, man. Well, awesome. So family, I know you golf all the time.
Yeah, try to golf at least once a week if I can. It's hard with business and fam, but yeah, try to stay in the 80s if possible. So
good. You hear that? Contractors, work with Beau, go golf. That's how you form your relationships.
You gotta have the mental break, man. And then also we've just seen a lot of like sponsoring these like Douglas County veterans, Dads at Castle Rock. There's a ton of events that we sponsor, and so we're always going out to those and meeting people and just trying to serve in the community.
It's awesome. Yeah, that's it's something we've been throwing around. It'd be cool to do some sort of like Contractors of Colorado get together. I don't know if a golfing event's it, but it's definitely on the table. Could be something real cool. All right. Anyway, tell us about your business, landscaping. You're our preferred landscaper, South Region. You came to us highly recommended. I've known you for feels like years now, but it's similar circles that we run in. Your name is always coming across. I see your trucks all over town.
Yeah,
being in Castle Rock. But tell us a little bit about the business side.
Yeah, it's cool, man. I give all the credit to God and our team, man. I started this thing with a couple guys, and we built it probably over the last almost 10 years now. This past year, we're running 10 crews full time and doing jobs from $5,000 all the way up to $2 million. It really all ends of the spectrum, from a basic, concrete patio, solid irrigation to, multiple 6-figure swim pond water features. So, really from top to bottom, we do it all.
Yeah.
It's cool, man. We started out in the beginning doing just concrete. And then we started doing like high-end decorative concrete. And I just fell in love with like doing, multi-colors and different textures. And then, we started doing it for landscape architects. And I kind of saw what you could do with pavers and water features and just kind of fell in love with that stuff. And then just year over year, just kept getting better people, more people, and partnering with the right people. And, now we're here today with 10 crews running full time. So it's cool.
That's cool. How long have you been in landscape? And then 2, how long's the business been around?
So business almost 10 years now. We've been operating. Concrete was really mainly the first year, and then we kind of dove into landscaping with that. So landscaping about 9 years.
Awesome. And landscaping, you hit on some of the services. Is there anything you don't do, you want to do less of, you want to do more of?
Yeah, it really just depends. We have, I have 5 designers full time plus myself. you know, some of our designers love doing renovations. Some of them love doing new builds. So really from top to bottom, we can tackle anything. You know, I know a lot of people follow us on social media and see these like massive projects we're doing.
Yeah.
But really 80% of the jobs we do are like 30 grand or less.
Right.
You know, I normally post those big ones just to kind of show the capacity of what we can do, but we'll show the same level of care to the smaller projects as well. So
Yeah.
again, just from top to bottom, we like doing everything.
That's sweet. If you haven't, contractors, checked out Beau's page, man, some of the water feature jobs are awesome. Some of the flyovers and drone work, stuff like that. Just really cool to see a backyard that's just a plot of land turn into something like, dang, where's the invite to this? Like, I want to sit out there all summer. I mean, it's awesome, man.
Yeah, it's really, you know, I have 6 kids, right? And so I think, you know, as my kids, or even if you don't have kids, but like I think like when my kids, you know, my oldest is 10 now, but when he's 13, 14, 15, and they start to bring friends around, you know, and they're coming over, and I want them in my house. You know, I want them in my backyard doing things and in my home where I know they're safe, right? And so if I can create an environment to make memories in, people are going to want to be there.
Yeah.
And so that's where the whole design team comes into play. Like we can take a yard that's outdated or a yard that's brand new, that's nothing but dirt, and literally create you an outdoor living space that you're going to want to be in every day. Like you don't need to go spend money at X, Y, and Z. You know, you have it in your yard, and you have a place to make memories with your family.
Yeah, that's cool. We're going to clip that, and I'm going to send it to your kids here in the next few years, and I'm going to say, hear that? Dad wants to be the cool house. So invite all your friends over. We're having the parties here, the whole 9 yards, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, we just did a big job in Larkspur. It's got, I think the pond's like 9 feet deep, and then we have like 9 foot, 8 to 10 foot tall jump rocks into this swim pond. Like, who wouldn't want to be in that, right?
That's awesome.
And then in the wintertime, it's running and has fish, and it's just absolutely beautiful. So it's cool, man. I love it.
Real cool. Really cool. And very skilled. That's the one thing that I hear repeatedly. I like that you show off on those bigger jobs because it shows what your capacity is. Of course, if you can do that, you can jump into something more palatable for your average homeowner.
Yeah.
And do all that work too. So that's awesome. You got a cool story. Tell us about how you got into all this.
Yeah, so I'm 4th generation oil and gas. My dad's dad was in it, and then all my brothers and aunts, uncles, cousins, everybody. And I was in oil and gas up in Loveland, and, you know, we had a guy come to our church, and he says, Beau, in 3 months, you'll be laid off from the oil field, but a man's going to call you immediately after and offer you a position helping run his company, and you're going to go work for this man for 1 year. And after that year, you're going to have everything you need to know how to run your own business. And then you're going to become very successful. I was like, I'm 33 now. I was like 23 when that happened, 22. And I was like, dude, there's no way. Like, I'm setting oil field for life. Like, that's what my whole family does. I'm going to always be doing this. Well, sure enough, man, 3 months later, oil field takes a crap. I'm praying. I'm just like, well, I don't know what I'm going to do. And sure enough, man, like right after that, I got a phone call. I was just looking to plow snow or like run a skid for somebody for snow. And this guy calls me and he's like, hey, you sound really competent. Let me take you to lunch. Brings me in. I end up managing one of the biggest snow companies in Denver. I was managing like over 100 commercial snow sites, and just kind of learned how like contracting worked and contractors and kind of that whole world of business and operations. And I was sure enough, I was there for a year, and after that year, we parted ways. And you know, I went and saw an opportunity in Castle Rock to start doing concrete, man, and we got into it and dove head first, and now we're here.
That's cool.
Yeah,
These are chills.
everything I said came true, man.
What a wild.
Always in our posts, just try to give God the credit, man.
Yeah.
I'm very thankful.
Do you still keep up with that guy that told you all this, or was it just some passing
No,
by?
it's actually my father-in-law's mentor. He actually passed away.
Okay.
But yeah, incredible man, very prophetic, always hearing the voice of God. And it was really cool to get a word like that and see literally every single thing come true. That's why you see in our posts, we just always give God the credit, man.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Never nothing without him.
That's a really cool story. Really awesome. The services, tell us what sets you apart from other contractors. I mean, you guys are special in what you can pull off. You know, a lot of landscape crews you don't see blowing up into 10 crews, or a lot of landscape companies you don't see blowing up into 10 crews and really capitalizing on success and good reputation, all that. What else sets you guys apart?
Yeah, so on job, and this may be to my detriment, but normally on a project, if something goes wrong or a year later, you know, you have an issue or at the end of the day, I'm going to do everything I can to make sure the client's happy. We have like 175-star reviews on Google. I think we have more than any company in Douglas County. And for me, it's just always trying to do the right thing. I'm not perfect. I'm a broken man with flaws. But man, at the end of the day, I'm going to try to do what I can to do right by you and your family. And that means a lot to a lot of people. You see every day contractors ripping people off, taking their money, not doing the work, or doing shoddy work, cutting corners. We see it all the time. People not doing subgrade compaction or not doing road base in their concrete. We'll just tear it out. There's just dirt. And it's like, how could you do this? Like, the ground here sucks. It's a silty clay. Like, you have to do all your stuff right. Well, it's people just trying to make quick money.
Right.
And we're not that.
Yeah. That's a common theme with our preferred contractors. And again, there's a reason you're here and part of that program. Things always go wrong in construction. That's just going to happen. But it's about, we'll hang our name as Contractors of Colorado behind businesses that they've done their best to minimize things going wrong, but it's a reality. It's going to happen. So now when something goes wrong, how do you respond? What are your processes to respond to all of these things? So you checked all those boxes. You're a great fit in the program. Tell us a little bit about your process to ensure quality. I know you've got trusted partners that you work with that lead your crews. Are you going to job sites? Like, what does your quality and assurance process look like?
Yeah, so we have multiple project managers with decades of experience, and so they'll oversee the project, meet with the clients daily. They're on site daily, making sure the jobs are running smooth. And then, all of our, and if we ever have to bring in subcontractors like electricians, plumbers, everyone's licensed, everyone's insured. We don't cut any corners there. Permits are getting pulled, and we're making sure that everyone is legit that's on the job site.
That's good. It's no fault of homeowners, because I just don't think, if you're not exposed to it, you're doing one project every 5-10 years. You just don't know how it goes. And I think that's one of the things that we can educate as Contractors of Colorado and help our contractors understand is go out of your way to shout that kind of stuff out. Yeah. Because not business owners, our homeowners, they don't even know what questions to ask. Sure. They're like, oh, this guy seems nice. He showed up. He showed up on time, and he actually got back to me with a bid. And that seems to be the standard. It's like, all right, what about all the other stuff behind the curtain? Are they licensed? Are they insured? Does their insurance qualify for the project that you're bringing them in on? Or are they just throwing something in front of you to show that they do have insurance?
That's a super common thing. We're spending almost close to $20,000 a month on insurance for RMPS. It's crazy. So like these guys going and hanging door hangers, they might have a GL policy, but it might be just for a handyman insurance. So, something happens on your property and the insurance adjuster comes out, this isn't covered. Yeah. And then you're in a world of hurt. So you absolutely need to do your due diligence and making sure you're hiring reputable people. Yeah. Those door hanger guys might be a little bit cheaper, but truly at the end of the day, is it worth the risk?
Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of times we see breakdown in communication, those businesses disappearing, going out of business, all moving states. So, and that's just what we're trying to hedge against is, hey, we know these guys they're here to stay. They're good quality people. They're good quality businesses. And I have seen their processes, and they address these things. They make sure that you're doing this right. So glad to have you, proud to have you as part of the team. One of the things that I'm interested is, do you have any projects that you kind of want to talk about, boast about a little bit? We talked about some of the retention pond stuff.
Yeah. So right now we're on a project. We're calling it the Nova Project over in Diamond Ridge. If you check out our Instagram, it's at RMPS_landscaping. Got quite a few videos there, but that job is incredible. We have 5 different water features, all different styles. So two of them are going to be, I just found a rock. So I buy rock from a guy out of state, and he has 20,000 acres of moss rock, and we can literally go out there and pick out. That's how we get all this stuff for these really custom features to fit perfectly. Yeah. The homeowner's calling this one rock Pride Rock. It's 10-foot wide moss rock. It's absolutely massive, but that's going to be one of our big spillover rocks. Cool. And so we have 2 large natural water features that we're going to look like it's flowing underneath the driveway. There's a driveway that goes to a parking garage with a soccer field on it. And so it's going to be water feature, driveway, water feature underneath, all moss rock, really cool. And then up front, we've already done videos on this, a water table that's like 20-something feet long, all granite. And then on the other side of that, right by the front door, we have like a 20 by 20 reflecting pond with massive black granite boulders sticking out of it. It's all lit up at night. So sick. And then on the back patio, and there's all this heated porcelain. And then on the back patio, there's it's like a whiskey terrace water feature with 5 spill heads coming out of it. And this entire property is like on a cliffside off Diamond Ridge. It's so sick.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Man. How do you stay up to date on all this stuff? Like, what do you? I know we were talking about different programs and I guess content influencers, whatever you want to call them, on Facebook that run through trade specific stuff. But what else are you doing to stay up to date?
Yeah, for us, it's we do a lot of SEO, a lot of social media. I'm doing videos almost every single day.
Yeah.
Really trying to keep up to date on Instagram, TikTok, all that stuff. It's really just staying relevant, putting out content, being an ambassador in your community. We're really big with Dads at Castle Rock and a couple other groups, and it's really just about serving your community, doing the right thing, and then from that place, as long as you're doing right by people and honoring people, your business will do well.
Yeah, we're huge on that. It'll come back to you. Yeah. It's a kind of a core value of ours around here. So that's cool. One thing that I was getting at with the question was, I know you put out tons of content, and that's something that we're kind of talking about is, hey, what does it look like for you to come be one of the educators on this? But I'm curious, where does your info to stay up to date on like current trends of landscaping come from? Your educational piece, is that something coming from some suppliers, or are you now at the point to where you have the luxury to experiment with some stuff and be the cutting edge?
Yes. So like on this one, right, there was no specs on how to build this water table, right?
Yeah.
So, me, Jarrett, Ethan, amongst us is like 40 something years of experience. And so we just look at it and we're like, okay, how can we build this? How can we build this safe? How can we do this right? And then we'll sit there and talk at our drawing board in our shop in Castle Rock, and we'll sit there for an hour or 2 hours and we'll draw stuff on paper and like, okay, this would work, but this wouldn't work. So how can we, move this way for this to work? Well, what if this happens? And again, rolling back into we're going to do whatever we can to make it right by the client. So if we're experimenting with something and it goes wrong, we're going to just change it and fix it until it is right. But 90% of the time, man, it just comes out magic.
Yeah.
And it's just the creative juices of our team, all the experience, everyone kind of having an eye for this, and just really getting good people, paying them well, and just, I don't know, always just trying to be better. And every time it just keeps getting better and better and better.
That's cool. And man, I'm here for it. I've seen the growth. I've seen how it's been going for you guys. I love it. I love the content. It's cool. Yeah, man, you guys are it's impressive. Let's put it that way. It's impressive to see what you do, and it's infectious too. Like the passion, I could just tell. I was like, dude, I never think about hardscape. Like it's just not a passion of mine. But man, sitting across the table from you, hearing you talk about it and kind of feeling that energy, it's really cool. I could tell. That's who I would want doing my projects. I can promise you that. So.
Yeah, with us, where the magic happens, if we have a client, we'll do whatever you want, right? It's your yard.
Right.
But if you let us be creative, like let's say you call RMPS for a quote, right? And you're like, hey, here's ideally, if you come to us, have a budget, because I'm going to give you the best value. Everyone's always afraid to give a number.
Yeah.
If you come to me with a number, I'm going to guarantee I will give you the best value for that dollar that I can. And I want to put the most stuff in. Let's say your budget's $50,000. I want to make sure that for that $50K, I can give you the coolest, sickest backyard possible, right? Versus having a dance back and forth for a couple months to finally land on the 50.
Yep.
And so giving us that budget up front, and then if you can just let us be creative and excited about a project, that's where the magic happens. If we're excited about something and it seems like, hey, we could do this way, and it would give, this much more height on a boulder wall, or we'd be able to put some plant pockets here, or just these little touches, man. If you can be creative, and that's really where the magic happens.
That's cool. We operate very similar over here, and I totally respect and understand the budget question. It's like this taboo thing when you're sitting down with a potential client to bring up the budget. And it's like, no, you got to understand, like, I'm going to put together a proposal around your budget and respect what you're telling me, because I'm going to take you at your word that this is it. And then what I come up with, like, go shop it around, because there's just no chance. Like what we can provide, I'm confident in it. And same kind of thing with you guys. It's like, understanding what our limit is allows us to turn around and get creative with that 100%. So that's awesome, man. Is there anything else that you wanted to be sure that you kind of got to communicate to the audience in this podcast we're doing here?
I I think I said it earlier, and I think what I'm going to do this year is kind of, we'll still capture a lot of the big projects that we're doing, but I want to capture some more of the smaller ones and maybe do some more informative teaching stuff on our social media. But, like as of right now, we have a $5,000 minimum. So you call us and you're like, hey, I want like my front yard xeriscape with a couple boulder walls and some plants. Like I would love to do that project for you.
Yeah.
I love doing smaller xeriscape projects. They're so fun to me. Being able to tuck plants and understand that this plant's going to grow this direction into these boulders, and then I can put a light here and hit it the other way. And just, you don't have to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to have a beautiful yard. It's really about who are you hiring and what's their creative process? How does their brain work? How can they walk into my yard and just visualize magic, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like here at RMPS, we've really done that with our team that we put together.
I'm glad you said that, because that reminds me of one thing that I like to ask all of our contractors is, if you were in a position or you were a homeowner and you're a homeowner looking for these kind of services, what are some things that you want to look out for? What questions should you be asking your landscaping company?
Yeah, so really, you can have a final product, but really, how did you get there? What was the path? So whether you go with RMPS or Joe Schmo, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, on that quote, it needs to be really detailed out. What kind of concrete are you using? What kind of pavers are you using? What is your process for your excavation, your subgrade compaction, your road base compaction? Are you doing a clean gravel system? Are you putting geofabric in your under your pavers and your walls? And so there's all these different little processes and steps that really you can go online and look up, how to build a retaining wall, how to build all these things. And you'll see like one quote might just say that, they're just setting their base course on dirt. Whereas another quote might say, hey, we're going to excavate down an extra foot, put some gravel in there with geofabric, and then we'll do our base course on top of that. That's the contractor you want to go with. Because if you cut corners now, especially with the silty clay ground type out here in the thaw-freeze cycles, it might not fall in a year, but 2, 3, 4, 5 years down the road, it will.
Yeah.
And so you want to make sure that all your steps up front you're taking are to ensure longevity on the project.
It's good. It's in line with what we educate to. It's something that we're trying to take on our shoulders as an organization, is preparing our contractors to have those conversations, but also preparing the homeowners on what to ask. And bid transparency is huge for us. You don't lose a job when somebody comes back to you and say, hey, I have somebody who's doing it cheaper. Perfect. That's the opportunity to come in and go, let me consult with your bid. Let me sit down with you. I'll take a look at what they put together.
Apples to apples.
And let's make sure we're talking about the same thing here. So it's great feedback. Man, it's been a pleasure talking to you. Anything else that you want to get out today?
I will say it's very common for us to start getting phone calls, the rush. A lot of people think the rush for landscapers might start in May. We're actually already starting to get phone calls. So if you want to get on our books, I'd say call us within the next couple months, because we will book out pretty quick.
Yeah.
We'll probably be booked out fully by end of May. So
awesome, man. That's awesome. Well, congratulations on everything you're doing. Proud to have you as part of the team. Excited to see where everything goes with us here 5, 10 years down the future. But man, if it goes nowhere at all, it's a pleasure knowing you, pleasure seeing you run your business, and thank you for being a part of what we have going on.
Thank you, man.
Of course. All right. Well, that's it today, contractors. I appreciate you watching. Shout out again to our sponsors, the Business Foundry here in Lone Tree, an entrepreneur center, providing all the resources that you'll need. We have a media room, everything, and then the Builders Outlet. Cabinet stores, windows, trim, all your materials right there in Denver. So give them a call. Let them know you came from Contractors of Colorado, and they will take care of you. Everybody, have yourself a great day. I will see you next time.